I never had that, emotional connection with my parents and stuff, just because they were always out in the streets, drug dealing, stuff like that. That's the time when my parents had passed away, and they were murdered when I was about 13 years old. They told me that it was going to be about 6 months, and then to be here about 6 months, and after that, then I'd come home. They came to me and hugged on me and loved on me and stuff like that. To me, it showed that they were there for me when I really needed them.
Well, kids come to Sunshine Acres for a variety of reasons. For whatever reason, it's an environment that is not providing everything they need. Maybe it's an unsafe environment.
Well, some of them are homeless, and the reason they're homeless is because their parents are on drugs, and their parents are just trying to get their next fix, and so the children are very neglected. We also have children that have parents in prison. We have children that have failed adoptions. They adopt these children and say they don't fit in their home. We also take children that have just one parent that is too ill to care for them. And so we've had a lot of children lose their one parent after we've gotten them. When you have children that have had failed adoptions, they feel, well, my own parents gave me up and now I'm adopted and they've given me up. They have a double whammy and they're not going to trust anybody for a while.
They think that they're not lovable. They think they're not worthy. They think that because of them being placed here is their fault.
We have wonderful Christian house parents that love these children, that live with them. There's 10 children in a home, and so they're very well taken care of.
Basically, like your natural home environment. There's like other houses here, so it feels like a little neighborhood.
It's much larger than what many people think of when they think of a home, because it's actually a collection of homes.
We look at the kids, we treat all parts of them. We take care of their physical needs, obviously, but then there's also the spiritual element, the thread that runs through everything. There's the relational element where the kids are here. The house parents specifically, their job is to build relationships with these kids and meaningful relationships.
They want the homes to feel, family oriented. That's why they bring in a mom and a dad.
We have all the responsibilities of that. Take them to school when need be, take them to the doctor when need be. From the cook to the secretary, every one of us is thinking of the well-being of the children. It's not just a job, it's a ministry, it's a lifestyle, it's what we do.
1954, my husband was pastor of a little church in Mesa for 17 years, and during this time we've seen a lot of children from broken homes and children whose parents were dead or on alcohol or drugs, and they were putting in a foster home and they didn't fit. And so they'd put them in another foster home and they couldn't get along there. Then they'd move them again, and after children had been moved about 8 or 10 times, their behavior and emotional problems got so serious that even the foster homes didn't want them anymore, and the children just felt lost. They felt like that no one loved them.
There's struggles, struggles with attitude, struggles with behavior, struggles with the baggage that they've had in their lives prior to coming to you.
I was kind of separated from my mom because she went to jail for 8 months, and I was separated from her.
Like when I first got here, I used to be like a really big brat. And I used to get mad at everything.
They have this shield up. I don't like to say a wall, but they have a shield of protection, and they don't want to let you in too close.
When a child comes to you and says all these hurtful things, you know what my answer is? I love you even more because you let me know how you feel. And that is so important, because they're not doing it at me. It's all that hurt inside, and so you remove that.
But as long as they know that they're loved, as long as they know that I'm here to protect them, to keep them safe, then I know that there's a connection.
Now there's nothing that can ever make me mad, because everything here is so happy, and everything's just positive here, and nothing seems wrong.
You touch the heart of a child, that child reaches out and touches the heart of another child or another person, and it just goes out.
Well, my parents, all the time I was growing up, they talked about having a children's home. They were so upset with the state moving children from home to home.
We had the name Sunshine Acres picked out 10 years before we found this. We said someday God is going to give us a home. We're going to call it Sunshine Acres.
They literally prayed for 17 years, and when they found this property, 125 acres for $29,500. They didn't even look at the homes. They just stepped out of the car and said, "This is Sunshine Acres Children's Home."
Since we had to pray night and day for 17 years, we were grandparents before we finally found a place to start the home. My husband was 48 and I was 43. And we just found an old deserted boarding school out in the desert northeast of Mesa that had been sitting empty for 10 years without a caretaker. That was a total disaster. We were really too old to do it, and we had no special training to do it, and we had no money to do it, but God had laid it on our heart to have this home, and God has so wonderfully prospered us and blessed us and met every need.
They would take in children. There would be no support for their care. We'd take the poorest of the poor, and that they could stay as long as they need a home, even through college.
And we have run strictly, totally by faith. When we moved there, we had no electricity. Buildings were not fit to live in. And my husband was 48 and I was 43, and he was sick. He had asthma and emphysema. Our little boys were 5, 7, and 9. We had nothing to live on. We had to pay mortgage payments for 11 years, no money. And it seemed like the Lord spoke to us that day and said, "Don't you ever ask for a penny or a board or a brick. If you're desperate, if you're out of money, if you're out of food, you have bills due, do not solicit for funds. You just trust me. You just take care of the children, and I'll take care of you."
It's not only the money, it's the smallest need that he takes care of. That's what's so amazing. We have a need. One morning I got a call from the kitchen cook, and I run the kitchen also, and she said, "We don't have any milk. We don't have any orange juice." And it was about 5 o'clock in the morning that she called me and said, "Hey, you know what? No problem, I'll run to the store and go get it." By the time I got dressed, ready to go get it, stopped at the kitchen, a car drove by with 80 gallons of milk in its trunk. Now, you know what? We didn't tell anybody. We barely even asked God for it, but he had that need already filled when we didn't have it. So the miracles, from the smallest needs to the largest needs, are continually filled here at Sunshine Acres.
My parents felt these children need a family. They need somebody that cares for them beyond the age of 18.
Most children's homes are meant to be temporary. You're just putting them there while you're waiting to place them. Right. Ours is completely of the opposite of this.
And I think her stories and her writings and her love were her biggest legacy with these children, the connection that she had.
What a blow to Randy. It hurts so much to be punished for something that he hadn't done. Deep down inside.
Well, Aunt Vera, first and foremost, was a giver. Her heart was to meet need. And wherever she saw need, she would give away anything she had if it would help someone else. She worked her entire life and never took a salary.
I love you so much. You know what I pray for every day? That every one of you kids will go to heaven.
Do you know, I have most people tell me that the minute they walk on this property, they feel peace. And I do too. And to have that peace, you know that there is a Heavenly Father that is watching over us.
We are interdenominational, but we center everything around Jesus.
We are a Christian home, and we pray with the kids. We have seen that no child is so damaged that God can't redeem. No matter what kind of terrible home that you've come from, you can have a better life.
Growing up around so many different people and getting to know all the other boys in my dorm and the other kids in the other dorms, and just getting that close connection with them was what really helped me break out of my quiet little shell. And now it's helped me become more involved in school and make a lot more friends and be easy to talk to other people.
The staff, the amazing staff here, they're working on teaching, all the pillars of good character. And everything that the kids are learning in the horsemanship program ties right into that. So there's a consistent message. You are important. Your life counts. You are loved. You are safe. And your life matters. God has a purpose for your life. You know, it's not an accident that you're here. There's a reason you're here.
Every one of them is beautiful. Every one of these kids has something to give. They have something to offer. And the problem is that nobody's recognized that in their lives up to this point. So when they come in here, I'm going to try and show them what it is about themselves that they can be proud of. But what happens is if you stay long enough, if you work with them long enough, all of a sudden you see the light go on. Something clicks.
Because we have a support system and counseling and our horses and the way we live is a healing process.
I am a firefighter paramedic and have been for 20 years. And I've actually worked out here at the training division as a recruit training officer and firefighter mentor. My wife and I have 6 children that we've adopted. We're foster parents. Watching Aunt Vera and Jim Dingman, the love they had, the kindness they showed. I mean, they were parents. When you did wrong, you knew you did wrong, and they let you know it. When you did good, you knew you did good. And it was easy because they didn't expect anything but you just to be you. And that's what I tell the foster kids. When you've come to our house, you're part of our family now. That's what Sunshine Acres did for me.
I really get people that tell the good feeling that they have from when they take a tour. They say they really feel like we are on holy ground. And they love the feeling in the atmosphere because you know why? From the very beginning, Grandma was about love. And it was about love, and I almost cry when I think about it because she told me this. Love will change a child's heart. Doesn't matter what else goes on, but if you give them that love, it will change their life.
I'm never thrilled with just earthly, temporal things, but I am very thrilled when I see a spiritual change in the life of a child.
And it changes them. It changes their hearts. I have seen it.
After they're here just a very short weeks, their whole attitude toward life changes. They are happy and they have hope for the future for the first time in their life. And we hope that this little story of Sunshine Acres will inspire many of you to step out and take these children that are hurting and give them the love that they need.
If a child doesn't have their love, they, you know, as they grow up and if they have kids, then how are they going to know what to do? How are they going to know how to love other people?
It's about the kids and helping them to see what they can do in their lives and fulfill the potential that God has for them in their lives.
Every child deserves to feel special and to have self-esteem and to have some success. And most of these kids haven't had that.
And so to come here and to have a place where they can just be and develop and role model and play out relationship issues and learn trust and things from, you know, the bottom up is incredibly important for them.
You've heard the term, it takes a village to raise a child. That's exactly what's happening here.
Have we made it with every child? No, we haven't. But we feel like we've planted the seed.
I just knew that I didn't want to become, you know, like my parents and whatnot and repeat that cycle.
I believe that I can definitely change the pattern of my parents.
I got married here. I have 2 kids.
And I started seeing the positive things come out. I started seeing them want life more.
My future job that I want to do is to be a lawyer, like to debate.
I'd rather be here than any other place I could possibly imagine.
It's not just the history, it's the mission, it's the purpose, it's the changed lives. And I still say the greatest miracle at Sunshine Acres is a heart that's changed.
That's why we call Sunshine Acres Miracle in the Desert, and seeing miracles happen every day.